All right, if you've ever built an Android app, you know this feeling, right? You spend hours coding, squashing bugs, and then, finally, that magic moment. It works, but, and this is a big but, the real challenge, that's just getting started. So yeah, let's get right into it. And boom, this quote, it just nails it. Getting it to work is one thing. Getting it to work everywhere is another story. That right there is the heart of the matter for any Android developer. It's never just about your phone, it's about a whole universe of devices.
So let me ask you, straight up, does your app work on all of them? I'm talking the budget phones, the shiny new flagships, those older models that people just refuse to give up. Because if you're even a little bit hesitant to say yes, well, you've got a problem, and you might not realize just how big that problem is.
I mean, we're not talking about a handful of devices here. Not dozens, not even hundreds. We are talking about thousands of different Android devices out there in the real world. Every single one has its own little personality, its own screen size, its own hardware quirks. This isn't just some minor detail. It's the central puzzle of building for Android.
And this whole mess? It has a name: fragmentation. And honestly, getting your head around this one word is the key. It's why doing proper, serious testing isn't just a nice-to-have. Nope, it's about survival.
Okay, think about it this way. Your app might be an absolute dream on your Google Pixel, right? But then it just completely crashes and burns on a Samsung or a Xiaomi. You've got all these different brands, a zillion different OS versions, screens of every shape and size, and then, just for fun, you throw in the chaos of real life, like spotty Wi-Fi or a phone that's about to die. It's a perfect storm for things to go wrong.
And at the end of the day, this isn't just a tech issue. When an app crashes on someone, they don't sit there and think, oh, darn that Android fragmentation. No way. They blame your app. And that's why testing is so much more than just bug hunting. It's about earning a user's trust. It's about giving them something so solid, so reliable, they'll want to use it again and again.
All right, so how do you even begin to tame this beast? You don't just wing it. You need a plan. So let's break it down with a super straightforward 5-point checklist for testing your Android app.
First on the list, functional testing. This is the absolute basics. Does the login button, log you in? Can someone actually buy something? Does the main feature work? It's all about making sure your app does what it says it does. But, and this is a big but, there's a huge trap here that almost everyone falls into.
See, most people only test the happy path, that perfect little journey where the user does everything exactly right. But what about the unhappy paths? What happens when they type in the wrong password or say no to permissions? What if their internet cuts out right in the middle of something important? These are the moments where good apps prove their worth, and bad apps just fall apart.
And that's so important, because let's be real, users never follow the script. This is exactly where professional testing services, like what you see at 12testers14days.com, really shine. Their whole job is to think like a real, unpredictable user. They hunt down those weird edge cases that your automated scripts would probably miss entirely.
Okay, next up, UI and UX testing. Basically, how your app looks and how it feels. UI, user interface, is about the visuals. Are the buttons where they should be? Can you actually read the text? Then you've got UX, user experience, which is all about the feel. Is it smooth? Is it intuitive? Because an app can work perfectly but still feel clunky and broken if the design is a mess.
And this has gotten way more complicated than it used to be. It's not just one screen anymore, right? Have you actually checked your app in dark mode versus light mode? What happens on a foldable screen when it just folds? Or when someone using a different language has words that are way longer and totally break your beautiful layout? These are the modern headaches.
So how do the pros handle this? With some serious attention to detail. A super effective technique, and something we do, is capturing side-by-side screenshots of your app on tons of different devices. It lets you visually spot every little layout shift, every weird rendering bug, and fix it before your users ever have to see it. All right, number 3 on our list is a big one: performance. This is all about how fast and responsive your app feels. Does it launch quickly? Is it stuttering when you scroll through a list? Is it secretly draining the user's battery? A slow, laggy app is a one-way ticket to getting uninstalled fast.
And this is where we get to the core problem with performance testing. It's really the theory versus the truth. Emulators? They're the theory. They're great, but they live in a perfect little world with unlimited resources. Real devices? That's the truth. They have limited RAM, weird chipsets, and a dozen other apps running in the background. That's where you find the real bottlenecks.
That's why testing on actual physical hardware is just non-negotiable. At 12testers14days.com, we use real Android phones, a whole lab of them, to find those performance issues. This is how you catch those slowdowns that only show up on a 2-year-old phone with low memory, and it's what saves you from that wave of bad reviews.
Okay, number 4, and this is serious, security. And please don't make the mistake of thinking this is only for banking apps. If your app collects any user data, even just a simple email address, then security is 100% your responsibility. Here's a quick security checklist to run through in your head. Are you storing any data as plain, unencrypted text? Are your API keys and secrets properly secured? Or are they just sitting in your code? Are you asking for permissions you don't really need? Or, a classic mistake, are you leaving debug logs in your production app? A good security test will dig into all of this. Look, it only takes one data leak to absolutely trash your reputation. That's why services like ours always include security and data privacy validation. It's not just about protecting your users, it's about protecting your entire brand. And that brings us to number 5, which brings us right back to where we started, compatibility testing. This is where we directly take on that fragmentation monster. This is the part where we systematically check your app on all those different OS versions, screen sizes, and phone brands. Works on my device. I swear, those are the 4 most dangerous words in app development. It's not a strategy, it's just a wish. It's a gamble. I mean, a tiny change in permissions between Android 11 and Android 14 could mean your app won't even install for a massive chunk of your audience.
And the only way to find these little compatibility landmines is to test across a huge range of real devices. We're talking Samsung, Pixel, Xiaomi, OnePlus, the whole shebang. You have to find these issues before your users do. It's that simple.
When you boil it all down, it's this. If you release an app without doing this kind of compatibility testing, you're not taking a calculated risk. You're just closing your eyes and betting your app's entire future on luck. So, I'll leave you with this one question. Are you ready to stop betting? Are you ready to start building for success?